2 days without a video. God, I must have really needed that time off. One day I'll take a week off, but that ain't today. Hello there, everyone. How you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going to go into r/entitled people to read some entitled people stories that will leave you shaking your head. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and check out my links in the description. Now, without further ado, let's get started, okay? Karen yelled at my dog while he was in my yard. This just happened today. I don't believe I was in the wrong here, but let me know if I could have done anything differently. Also, if Hugo's dad sees this, hello to you and YouTube. I don't know who that is, but I, 32F, was outside with my dog Fitz, a 2-year-old male Springer Spaniel, this afternoon, enjoying the warm weather with a book. It's the first day we've had in the 70s this year, and I decided to take advantage of the higher temperatures for a while. Since I'd been out there, he was lying calmly at my feet. For context, I was sitting on a bench on the front porch, my back to the house and hidden by a brick wall facing westward. Our house is a one-level duplex built in the 1950s. My mom owns the building and we live in one side with tenants on the other side. Very tiny apartments, about 500 square feet on the next street. There are only 2 houses on our block, including ours, that are built vertical like this. The other duplex houses are built horizontally, which means that the way our house is situated, I wouldn't have seen this happening. I was just finishing one of the books I had, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which I highly recommend if you haven't already read it, when Fitz suddenly jumped up and ran towards the sidewalk, barking. A second later, as I'm putting my book down, I hear screaming. There's this woman standing on the boulevard with a German Shepherd-looking dog, screeching while her dog snarls at Fitz from the sidewalk. Even though there isn't a fence, Fitz is still in the yard. His long leash, plus his normal 6-foot leash, only get him as far as the little free library in our yard, and is barking and apparently in the playbow position. Karen then starts screaming at me, saying something along these lines.
WTF, you need to control your dog. I'm 70 years old and I could have broken a hip. Which address is yours?
I'm on the autism spectrum and don't do conflict or confrontation well, so I'm struck speechless, trying to pull Fitz away from her, while my mom comes out and yells at her. You don't have to carry on like that. He's still in our yard, and if you don't like it, don't walk down this way anymore.
Your dog is dangerous. I could have broken my hip. I'm 70.
Just keep walking, my mom says. Karen walks off in a huff, while Fitz wanders to my mom, butt wiggling as she sweeps off the front porch. I'm trying to explain that I didn't see her coming and wasn't able to stop Fitz. And then Mom said she was just looking for some attention. She didn't have to cause a scene like that, and she didn't need to step in the boulevard because there was plenty of room for her to keep walking. She shouted that last bit as Karen's retreating back, now at the next corner. That sounds like something my grandmother would do. Like, the mom sounds like she would act exactly as my grandmother would. She does that a lot to cars. Like, oh my god. Oh. For our next story, we've got Karen's husband gets slapped with summons. So, this weekend was pure entertainment. I love living in a close-knit town where we have community events all the time. Some are random, like this one. We got together and volunteered our kids to clean the parks and trail they threw trash in. While they were cleaning, I joined a couple of parents and cleared some half-fallen trees so they wouldn't be a hazard anymore. Park Service was there, and the town code enforcer showed up in uniform with his kids. And this is very important for later, by the way. He, of course, came in uniform because he's running for office forever. He led his kids around the park picking up trash, sweeping debris, and racking up leaves. So as we were clearing the debris along the trail by Karen's house, a police officer comes by, led by Karen's weasel of a husband. Let's call him Kevin. Karen was locked up, and I guess he figured he had to do her work. He apparently called them and wanted them to see the hoodlums with weapons on his trail, and the men destroying the forest. The police officer wrote him a ticket for filing a false police report and left, telling him not to call again. A few hours later, the code enforcer came down the trail with a group of kids picking up trash, and he saw the condition of Karen's fence. He told the kids he wanted it all picked up, and they got to work. And Kevin, well, he came out in a huff. He screamed that they needed to get off my property. I saw a few parents getting ready to tell him off when the code enforcer bellowed, "You heard him, kids. Get out of there." He then walked up to Kevin with the biggest grin I have ever seen in my life. He pulls out his summons book and starts writing. The conversation went as follows. Code enforcer. You have 1 week to clean this up, as you are in violation of our town's Clean and Pristine Act. Kevin looked pissed, staring blankly. This is your fence, is it not? Said the code enforcer. The Karen of a man said, Yes, but those little demons are the ones who dropped their trash there. The code enforcer responded. Well, those kids were cleaning it up, but you don't want them on your property. I cannot allow them to trespass. You see, as I am on duty today, and since I am on duty, I must enforce the clean and pertinent order. Now, if you wish to give them permission to be on your property, they will clean up the trash, or you can do it yourself. Let the little bastards clean it. Frickle you! I stood there laughing with the dads as I cannot describe the level of confusion on Kevin's face during the entire exchange. The code enforcer stood there with the biggest poop-eating grin I have ever seen as Kevin stormed off to his house. One of the moms piped up, I thought you said you weren't working today. The code enforcer grinned. Well, I couldn't pass up an opportunity to shut that guy down hard, could I? We all laughed and got back to cleaning. The kids picked up all the trash on his property. We saw Kevin a few more times, mostly coming out to curse about how terrible the kids are. Kevin got into an argument with one of the moms, but my daughter didn't hear what they said, and I was at the other end of the trail. When it was all done, we had a big barbecue party to celebrate the clean park and to reward the kids for their hard work. Too bad Kevin is such a sourpuss, or we would have invited him. Side note, most of the kids confessed to throwing trash on Karen's property. My daughter confessed to it as well as apologizing for contributing to the mess. Most of the kids weren't willing participants, but a few threats of lost video games and TV privileges sure do work wonders. For our next story, we've got Crazy Adventures at an Orange Box. A manager steps over the line. Please be aware that this story has a lot of adult themes, 18 and over only. While this is supposed to be an 18 and over channel, and you should be an adult if you're watching this, I don't really have control over what YouTube recommends. Anyway, let's get started. So, to preface this story, I must first explain that I used to work for a big orange box store. I worked there part-time while going to college. A very important thing to note is that this store was like a bad porno. The normal conversations away from customers is who was sleeping with who and who was better equipped. In fact, most of the conversations was about this. It's almost like if the movie Porky's was in a retail store. Management didn't seem to care. In fact, the store manager was known for bending cashiers over his desk. 2 women were caught doing it in the receiving department, and the manager that caught them just wanted to watch. Remember that guy. He's very important to the story. Let's call him Tom. So, we have a very lovely cam girl. Let's call her Jess. On a scale of 1 to 10, she scored a 20 on her bad days, working there for medical benefits. Jess made most of her money doing shows online. Just about every guy in the store wanted her, but she had a boyfriend. She would always dress in loose-fitting sweatsuits most of the time. If you asked her why, she would say, "You gotta pay to see it." She got accused of soliciting in the store at one point. The case fell flatter than a record on the floor. Well, Tom was transferred to replace a manager that wanted to clean house. We didn't like him, and after a dozen or so complaints of harassment, he was transferred, and we got Tom. Tom was a pervert and a creep to the highest level. At first, it was come join the party. No one cared that he was over 60. So, Tom took a liking to Jess in the worst way. And once again, we thought nothing of it, as most guys wanted her. It became concerning when he decided to corner her one day and ask her to be with him. She quickly got out of that situation, but it freaked her out. A few of us wanted to enact revenge for her, but she told us to wait. She had a plan. Jess came into work for the next week, wearing an outfit that had a shirt that was easy open. It was only a matter of time before creepy Tom cornered her again. Now, I wish I was at work that day. Jess pulled open her shirt and screamed at the top of her lungs. He stood there stunned as she dropped to the floor, clutching her shirt. A customer jumped in, Mr. White Knight as we called him, and threw Tom to the side and started screaming at him. Another customer started to console Jess as the crowd of customers and employees gathered. Tom would later take a plea deal that did not involve prison. Now, if you're looking for a happy ending, you're in for disappointment. Corporate came in and started firing people involved in any form of SH. A bunch of us quit before we could be fired, myself included. Jess got something, but I'm not sure what, but she stopped working there too. I heard the store manager got fired because his dirty deeds got found out. Poor old Tom. If only he approached the cashiers. They were usually down for anything. I'm going to give my personal thoughts on OP here. They don't sound like the best person, but that was a hell of a story. Anyway, that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed these stories, do a like, do a subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment with your thoughts. I don't know, I'm not your daddy. I don't know. Do what you want. Have a nice day.
Hey, can I borrow your attention for a little second? You see, I'm saving up for some equipment items, like a VR headset so I can record in VR chat, or a new AT2020 mic. You can help me fund these by going to my throne in the description below. I'll leave it on the top to help you find it. If you enjoy my video, please check it out. Now, that's the end of today's video. I'll see you later.